Hello, welcome back to another video. Today's topic is how to coordinate with a toxic parent, or at least how to try to. So I'm Duane. If you want to learn how to get your life back, break the cycle of emotional abuse, strengthen your relationship with yourself and your kids, start right now by subscribing, hitting the bell so you don't miss a thing. Okay, so now for most of us, our kids are back in school or that year, or that is upon us. It creates a lot of extra complications because of coordination. This has come up because I'm having to deal with this right now, so it makes for a timely topic, and I thought I would share this with you. And I'm going to hit a few different things on this that I think are really important that can help you deal with the situation and minimize the craziness that actually is happening because your toxic ex is just toxic. The first thing on this is don't expect anything different. One of the things I noticed for me in the last couple of days, I'm just thinking, man, why does this have to be so stupid? Why does this have to be so complicated? This is primarily coming up with because my youngest needs a sports physical so she can play tennis. And, now before it was mommy was doing it, now she's not because she's working. But there's no coordination. There's not like, hey, you need to do the appointment, or hey, can you get this information? Or hey, I'm going to have her use the after program. None of that stuff. So don't expect them to at some point just become normal, productive human beings, decent parents, somebody who was willing to focus on the good of the kids, to have a at least civil relationship with you to accomplish things. They are going to use everything in their power to try to always make it seem like you are being difficult, that you won't co-parent, that you won't deal with them. And you just need to understand that so that you, one, don't fall for the trap, because what you might do is you might think, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? I'm just going to reach out because this is silly. You can try that. And I have in the past. And normally I get, boop, jabbed right in the eye. And, I don't know. I mean, and I would say there's even a period on this where I'm just thinking, this is ridiculous. Why don't I just, try to have some communication? I am going to send all the information from the meeting to the ex, and I'll talk about that in a minute. The other thing you need to know and realize is they're going to use the kids. They will not transfer information to you. They will tell the kids to do things, or they will use the kids to try to direct you to do things, or just circumvent you. For instance, in this particular situation, for me, the example is, as I was getting ready to take my daughter yesterday to the appointment, it was like, I need a copy of the shot records. Why does your mom need a copy of the shot records? Considering I have a copy because I don't have the originals, because she has the originals. Anyways, so what happened with that is her mom, my daughter's mom, was sending her information on, hey, you need to do this, you need to talk about that. Like, it was even issues. There were issues where it was like, hey, you need to talk to him about that. But instead of telling me or coordinating with me, that's not going to happen. It didn't happen, and you shouldn't expect it to happen. So the thing is, the main thing on this is to think about that. Be mentally prepared for it, and don't allow it to anger you and frustrate you or cause you to lash out or anything like that. Just understand this is the type of crap that they're going to do. That's unfortunately a reoccurring pattern that you're going to have to deal with. And I hate to say accept it, but it's almost like you need to kind of accept it. You need to understand that that's what you're dealing with. It's not going to change, and don't get angry about it. Bottom line is, don't react to those type of things, because they're in their own little world. They're going to create their little vision in their mind of what's happening. Don't fall for the bait or fall for the trap. Don't take the bait. Just focus on what you need to do. Like, for instance, on this, it's like, oh, okay, your mom wants you, you need to check on these other things. Okay, we'll make a note of it, and when we're with the doctor, we'll talk about it. Now, on this, the next part about this is, as best you can, try to keep the kids out of this. Try not to put them in the middle of it. I know it's tough, and I know I just said that your ex is going to put your kids right in the middle of it, but don't add to it. For instance, I must admit, I made a mistake. I lashed out when my daughter said, Mommy needs a copy of the shot records. And I'm like, your mom can go get a copy, just like I had to go get a copy because she has the originals anyways. I shouldn't have said that. I should have just said, oh, really? Why do you need it? Or not a big deal. I should have made it not a big deal. And part of this is reminding yourself what you're dealing with, understanding that this stuff's gonna just keep coming up. I mean, come on, guys. 8 years. I've been doing this for 8 years. The same stupid stuff is happening for 8 years. 8 years. What the, I mean, it just doesn't end. Expect it, right? Expect that it's going to be like that, and don't let it get to you. Okay, let me flip it back around, right? Let's say she was taking our daughter to the appointment, and I needed a copy of the shot records for something. I would never, I would ask her, which it wouldn't happen because she wouldn't do it. She never would share anything anyways. So that's pointless. I'd go around. I would do an end run around and bypass it so I didn't have to deal with it. I realize that can be incredibly frustrating because you shouldn't have to do that. And you may want to try to force the issue. And to be perfectly honest, I tried to do that in the past. I would send her emails, you're supposed to share this, you're supposed to do that. I found out that there was an appointment. Legally, on page 7 of the court order, it says you're supposed to share information and you're not doing it. You're violating a court order. Well, the reality is that going to make her change? No. Is it going to make your toxic, narcissistic ex change and realize that they're doing it wrong? No, unfortunately not. So work around them. Bypass it. Keep the kids out of it, and do what you need to do to keep things as stable and calm as you possibly can. The thing in this, a little caveat that I want to mention on this, is what you want to do is you want to demonstrate that you're not part of the silliness. And to be perfectly honest, that example that I gave you yesterday, I did not do well on that. I basically, by the way I reacted with my daughter, fortunately I'm good about not doing it with the kids' moms anymore, but you need to get a handle on that. You need to anticipate that this stuff is going to happen so that you don't do that, and you don't cause those extra special little moments that hurt your relationship with your kids, and just basically throws them in the middle of it. And bottom line, your kids already know what's going on. They're already stressed. They're already in the midst of this and just not really having a good time. So the main thing is just try to minimize it as much as possible. And it's tough, because what I'll tell you for this situation, for the longest time, I was taking the girls for the first few years to all the doctor's appointments and the physical appointments and stuff like that. And as soon as this tennis thing came up in my other daughter's second year of high school, that all changed. It was like, nope, Daddy shouldn't be taking me to these appointments. This is a mommy thing, and completely phased me out of it. I was no longer involved. I couldn't set the appointments. My middle daughter freaked out whenever I tried to do that. And it's like, no, mommy has to do it. And I get that the reality of it is that was an opportunity for the girls to interact with their mom and have a connection. I get it, right? So I just kind of backed off and I let that happen. But you have to be aware of that and understand it. So there's a little bit of past animosity for me whenever it turned into like, oh, now for the youngest, she's not taking her to the appointments, I have to take her, and now I'm no longer persona non grata. Think about that and try to anticipate it. I mean, that was a mistake I made, is I wasn't thinking about it. So I should have, in my mind, before we even went to the appointment, I should have been thinking that their mom is going to try to insert herself, is going to try to do this type of thing. I should have been prepared for it, so that way I could have just blown it off and been like, oh yeah, no problem. You need a copy of it? Well, we can make a copy, or it's not a big deal, or what do you need it for? Like for instance, today, what they needed it for, I went and signed, actually they didn't even need it, that's the crazy part, because they already had it on file, but expect your ex to do whatever, anything, even if they don't need something to insert themselves, right? Because they want to be a part of it, and they want to, like, think of me, don't forget me, and that's a big part of it. Recognize it, prepare yourself for it, minimize your reactions so that you don't go down the pit of hell, because every time you do that, it really makes it harder for your kids, and just don't expect things to be different. Coordinating with a toxic ex is nearly impossible. because coordinating is basically like co-parenting, and they won't do it. And the sad part is that if you're trying to engage with them, you're trying to work with them, and they're playing this game where they won't work with you and it always feels one-sided, it increases your stress level. If you can do it, if you can sit there and you can have those interactions and you can send that information and everything's fine, then great. And then I would encourage you, if you can do that, do it. If it's a constant exercise in frustration, don't put yourself through it. Do the hybrid no contact, share what you have to, minimize communication. Like for instance, what I'm gonna do on this is I'm gonna type up notes. I will email her the notes, I'll email her the paperwork, what came out of the appointment, and that's it. All right, I'm gonna wrap this video up. If you think you could benefit from some coaching, book some time with me over at dadsfamilydivorce.com/coaching. Take a deep breath on this stuff. Don't take the bait. Try to keep yourself as calm as possible. Be focused on the long-term goal on this, which is keeping everything as stable as possible for you and your kids, even if you only have them for a little bit of time, just so you can, minimize taking the bait and creating more drama for yourself. And on that, I will chat with you on the next video. Take care.